watching the game last night, listening to the highlight, hearing Dan Campbell. I don't actually mean this, but I kind of do. I'm like borderline sexually aroused by all of it. I mean, this is football pornography. This is absolutely as good as it gets. I do a ton of media on Fridays. I do most of my media is staggered towards the end of the week to talk about the games coming up this weekend, right? And all the media that I did today, on national shows, on local shows, across auto, whatever, everyone's asking me, did Dan Campbell make the right call last night by going for it on fourth down? And I am so goddamn insulted by the question that it actually, it makes my blood pressure rise. That we, in the year of our Lord 2024, have not reached the point as a society where we can't look at that decision and say, independent of result, yes, of course it was the right decision. Of course he made the right call. And listening to him talk about it post-game, how in God's name could you think it was the wrong call? One way or another, for him to get up there and say, I trusted the team, I trusted the line, I trusted Montgomery, I trust my offensive coordinator. They would all run through a wall for him, and things like this are the reason why. Would you rather have, Kyle Shanahan? Kyle Shanahan might have punted. I don't even know if he would have sent out the field goal unit. Is that, and I like Kyle Shanahan, is that what you'd rather have? You want to kick in that moment? You want to kick and give the ball back to Jordan Love? Does anyone know, what happens if you do that? Jordan Love wrecked that defense the entire second half. Does anyone really think the Packers aren't driving right down the field with Brandon McManus with a big leg indoors to tie the game and send it to overtime? And then, what happens if you lose the coin toss? You could lose the game. You lose right then and there. Why not 4th and 1? It's not 4th and 8. 4th and 1 with that offensive line, with that running back. It's your whole identity. You're playing at home. This is the DNA of the Detroit Lions. Of course you go for it. Everyone's asking me, did Dan Campbell make the right call last night by going for it on fourth down? And I am so goddamn insulted by the question that it actually, it makes my blood pressure rise. That we, in the year of our Lord 2024, have not reached the point as a society where we can't look at that decision and say, independent of result, yes, of course it was the right decision. Of course he made the right call. And listening to him talk about it post-game, how in God's name could you think it was the wrong call? One way or another, for him to get up there and say, I trusted the team, I trusted the line, I trusted Montgomery, I trust my offensive coordinator. They would all run through a wall for him, and things like this are the reason why. Would you rather have, Kyle Shanahan? Kyle Shanahan might have punted. I don't even know if he would have sent out the field goal unit. Is that, and I like Kyle Shanahan, is that what you'd rather have? You want to kick in that moment? You want to kick and give the ball back to Jordan Love? Does anyone know, what happens if you do that? Jordan Love wrecked that defense the entire second half. Does anyone really think the Packers aren't driving right down the field with Brandon McManus with a big leg indoors to tie the game and send it to overtime? And then, what happens if you lose the coin toss? You could lose the game. You lose right then and there. Why not 4th and 1? It's not 4th and 8. 4th and 1 with that offensive line, with that running back. It's your whole identity. You're playing at home. This is the DNA of the Detroit Lions. Of course you go for it. And the people that are saying, well, Campbell used to do this in the past because the team wasn't as good. You don't need to do that now. Bull crap. Bull crap. Should a bird not fly? Should a fish not be in the water? This is what Dan Campbell does. If he stops going for it on fourth down, what is he? He's a regular coach. And a jacked one with the cool goatee and great charisma. He's a regular coach. This is what makes him special. It's what makes the Detroit Lions special. That's the ultimate, nuts on the table, go for it spot. You won't get a better one than that. Of course he's going to go for it. And we should be celebrating this. More coaches should be doing this. Coaching to win as opposed to coaching not to lose. You wanted him to kick? Kick the field goal? Here's Jordan Love now? Really? They weren't losing. The game was tied. Of course you go for it there. And just the last note on this, the thing that honestly, this stuff boils my blood. The thing that pisses me off the most is the people that say that in the playoffs, Dan Campbell is going to cost the Lions a win like he did in the NFC Championship game this past January in San Francisco. I got to tell you, man, the people that say stuff like this, I like some of them. I also hate their guts. I feel like they shouldn't be allowed to talk about football or anything. They should have to go in a lifetime out. Should have to go to jail for the weekend and not be able to be outside in public with other human beings. Like, you're missing the point. You don't get it. Like, you live life from a scared mindset, and you're looking at life and football not to lose as opposed to trying to win. The reason why the Lions lost the NFC Championship game and say, I bet Lions money line. Trust me. I understand. The reason why the Lions lost the NFC Championship game, it's not Dan Campbell's fault. Ball bounces off Kendall Voldemort, Avada Kedavra, get out of my face, off his helmet to Brandon Ayuk. Josh Reynolds drops 2 wide open passes, one on a 4th down, one on a 3rd down. Jahmyr Gibbs puts the ball on the ground. If anything, Dan Campbell wasn't aggressive enough in the NFC Championship game against San Francisco, like at the end of the first half when he opted for a 21-yard field goal with Michael Badgley instead of going for foot on the throat to win the game right then and there. He should have been more aggressive. So yeah, if we get to NFC Championship game, divisional weekend, here's the Packers, here's the Vikings, here's the Eagles, and he goes for it on a big 4th down and they don't get it, I don't want to hear one person say Dan Campbell cost his team the Super Bowl, a chance to get to the Super Bowl, because this is who they are, and this is the reason why they're in this place in the first place. They wouldn't be here without that attitude. They wouldn't be here without Dan Campbell and the cavalier and the ruthless nature and the trust that he has in his team. They wouldn't be in this spot without it. Like, get a clue. And I'll go back and close with this. And Femi and I will talk about Dan Campbell being the favorite to win Coach of the Year in a second, and why, I kind of hope Kevin O'Connell wins because I win money if and when that happens. But, he's the rightful favorite right now. After the Lions lost the NFC Championship game in San Francisco, Dan Campbell got up there in front of the media, was obviously devastated, and said, I told my guys in the locker room, we may never get back here again. This may have been the one shot that we get at it to go to the Super Bowl. It was honest, and it was brilliant. It was honest, and it was brilliant. Because fast forward 11 months later, 10-plus months later, 12-1, 11 straight wins, and the favorite to win the Super Bowl. And people want him to send out the field goal unit. What the hell is wrong with all of you people? Hey, Femi joins me here. Femi, I'm guessing you felt the same way, that he made the right move?
That survivor call, man. They had 250 more yards in the Bucs in that game. I hated it. I disagree with you, Nick. I disagree with you. Consider me one of the people that
I don't have the oxygen here, to get upset about this. Please, I have to say this.
Let me give it to you this way.
Let me just say this. Femi does not lie. He does not make up stuff just to disagree with me. We agree on a lot. I almost can't believe this. That this is what I don't even know what you're about to say, and I'm flabbergasted already.
Here's why, is that I always, when I talk about 4th down situations, I always put myself in the opposition shoes of what do they not want me to do. If I'm the Green Bay Packers, I want you to go for it on 4th down because that's my chance to keep
No way.
Yes,
you want them to kick. You want the ball back.
No, you don't. I don't want to be down with 40 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
I totally disagree.
You want to be down by 3 with 40 seconds left in the fourth quarter? You take that option?
Because the assumption, I think the assumption has to be, right? You have to, okay, so the Lions line up for that play. If you had to assign a probability percentage, what would you say the chances the Lions get that 4th and 1 versus not get it?
I'd say the Lions are probably 60%, 70% to get the 4th down.
Great.
But then what are they to make a 38-yard field goal?
Then you lose. Then you lose the game. You lose. But you don't get the ball back.
But what are you to make what do you mean a 38-yard field goal? That's like a chip shot. I don't want you to get a gimme field goal. You're going to be down but 40 seconds to go in the game.
But if they get the first down, you don't get the ball back.
Yes,
at least in that scenario, you get the ball back. But you even acknowledge
you're down.
You're unlikely to stop them. It's less than 50%.
But here's what I'm saying, though.
Way less.
Yeah, you're way less. They're definitely going to make the kick. They're 85, 90% to make the kick. My point is that I would rather get ahead and get the stop and be tied than to get the ball back and be down by 3. If the goal is to win the game, because if you're down by 3,
you're not going to get the
chances
stop.
are
It's the Lions.
But What do you mean you're not going to get the stop? They almost got it. Jared Goff almost tripped. He almost tripped on himself.
Goff tripped, and they still got it, and he got like 9 yards on the run.
And also, you can't say that because they got the stop early in the third quarter when they tossed the ball to Jahmyr Gibbs.
It was a toss play to Jahmyr Gibbs, which is a terrible play call. This was straight ahead to David Montgomery.
Yes.
They were going to get the first down.
The point is that I don't want to be trailing in the fourth quarter. I don't want to trail in the fourth quarter. So please, I encourage you, go for it. Let me get this stop. And now we have 40 seconds to go down, kick the field goal to win the game. Not to tie, to actually win the game in regulation. So that's why I felt it was reckless from Dan Campbell to actually go for it on 4th and 1. Because let's say this, Nick. Because I love going for it. I kill coaches that don't go for 2 at the end of games.
No, you want to kick.
I killed Gerard Mayo. I killed Todd Bowles. I do not want to kick.
You like
but here's why I would kick.
You're aroused by it. Send out the
I'm not aroused by it because even though a 38-yard field goal is a chip shot, let's say you get the 4th and 1, and if you miss the field goal, then what? Like that's the thing. Like you're going to overtime then. This is like just getting the 4th down did not win the game. Kicking the field goal won the game. That's what won it. The 4th down allowed them to run the clock down, but you don't guarantee a victory. Just like in a 2-point conversion situation, you do guarantee a victory when there's no time left on the clock because you're actually winning the game to take the lead with that play. That 4th and 1 conversion didn't win it. They still had to do something else. So I think all of that stuff combined, I felt that it was a little bit reckless by Dan Campbell to doing that. Yes, I understand his defense has nobody in the front 7. He was concerned about his defense. Otherwise, he would not have gone for it. But I still think that I would much rather have to go ahead and stop them on 4th and 1 than them going ahead and taking the free pass to kick the field goal and me being down by 3 or 40 seconds left in the game.